Hey everyone, my name is Conduit. I'm a Spellbreak streamer and content creator, and this is my second beginner's guide I have done on this channel. Today, we're going to be doing Spellbreak Gauntlets, which are the weapons in the game. They each have their own styles of play and vastly differ from one another, so that's what we're going to talk about today. This video is divided into two parts, each with 3 gauntlets. Today we're covering Frost, Stone, and Conduit. Be sure to subscribe if this content helps, or if you want to see the next part. I've also made another guide that will be helpful to beginners for winning your first fights and games. And if you have more questions, want to play, or just want to hang out, my Twitch link shown here and also in the description. If you're watching this on Thursday, that means I'm still doing a subathon, so go check that out. It's number 1, Frost. Frost is easily the hardest gauntlet to use in this game. It is the sniper gauntlet. However, since if you're watching this, you're probably a beginner, I would suggest getting a better understanding of the game before you play, and if you do play it, make sure it absolutely fits you, because it takes a long time to learn the projectile speed and the style of Frost, and it may not teach you it as fast as other gauntlets. The graphic shown in front of you tells you 4 different pieces of info about the gauntlet. First, the damage. You'll get around 15 to 72 damage with this thing, depending on how long you charge it. The type of gauntlet is a sniper, its ability is flash freeze, and its mana cost is around 27 to 54. Again, this very big range is due to the fact that you have to charge it up. Keep in mind that the longer you charge it, the farther it goes, and it does more damage. Now, I am not a Frost main, so this is not one of the gauntlets that I will be giving tips for. However, I have noticed that many Frost players don't charge all the way, and I can see why. It limits your movement a lot, so I would not suggest it. I would suggest charging around 75%, getting you a good amount of damage, but not limiting your movement. You can reliably get around 30, 40, 50 damage with. Frost's ability is Flash Freeze. This is a radius zone that forms around you for around 3 seconds. In those 3 seconds, it blocks every single fire, wind, and lightning projectile. It slows enemies inside by 50%, freezing them if they stay in it too long. It counters half the game's projectiles, so be sure to use it very defensively. Running towards someone and just using it will not work. Use it mainly to get projectiles off your back and just to stall. Should you use this gauntlet? If you like staying back or being the back support end of your squad or duo, then yes, it moves around and is the least aggressive of the classes, allowing you to spam snipes at a fight from a moderate distance. You need to be a really good shot, and if you are, it can help the team a ton with the damage and is a finisher. To counter the Frost Gauntlet, close the distance. Frost Gauntlets cannot play up in their face, and it is not meant for DPS, nor is it meant for up close combat. It is the sniper gauntlet. Force them to approach you by hiding behind structures or weave through busy places like castles to get up close, while constantly putting an actual physical object in the game's map between their ice lands and you. Good Frost players will likely use movement abilities to hold the distance or use their secondary. Either way, they are not sniping you. Number 2, Stone. Stone has been a little controversial lately. It cemented its place as the noob killer, although easy to counter. The last patch severely demolished its status. It was and is a very beginner friendly class. Not only is it high damage on par with Frost, it goes in a straight line on the ground. As a beginner seriously trying to get better, don't use it. It will not teach you how to get better, simply to spam left click on the ground to rack up damage against new players. Countering Stone is very easy, and practically every good player knows how to counter it. However, I will never disagree on the pure damage it has. My biggest tip is to watch them. At some point, a lot of classes, except for possibly Tempest, will be forced to hit the ground at some point. Be sure to trigger the animation right before they hit the ground. This can land a 20 to 40 damage hit, and if you land a few, you might exile them. The biggest strength of the gauntlet is overwhelming the opponent. Many players, myself included, struggle with mana management. Levitate takes more mana than gauntlets. Using Stone and missing is not all bad, as it has forced them to use some sort of mobility, and therefore mana, to get off the ground. Use this opening where they have less options to apply constant pressure. As you can see in this graphic, here are the 4 points of info again. You can get around 30 to 45 damage. It's a very aggressive ground damage gauntlet. Its ability is Boulder Fall, and its mana cost is around 19 to 25. Its ability, Boulder Fall, is pretty good, dealing around 20 to 50 damage. It's a massive boulder that you spawn and throw in an arc, not straight. It has AoE, although I would definitely not go for the AoE. I would actually try to hit them with the boulder, as it does much more damage. I like to use it as choke points to catch them, and also when they're in the air. If you're a beginner, which I'm assuming you are watching this video, probably not. The class itself has been massively nerfed, so it is not as viable. You will get quick results and kills, but will probably not win games. Most games you will see a very good player, at least in the top 3, if you even make it there. And now more and more players are learning how to counter the gauntlet, to the point where it may not be the noob killer soon. The way the gauntlet's attack works is that it's extremely limited. It only stays on the ground and only goes in a straight line, and the only reason it was good before is because of its massive hitbox and damage. And although that still works, it still limits your knowledge of the game and the knowledge that you are learning in a game. The only time I've ever really picked up stone is as a secondary, although I still don't suggest that, as there's always better alternatives these days. To counter it, it's pretty simple. Stone can't run up walls. Use runes and levitation to just get off the ground and rain down on them. Even better, alternate between different levels of elevation and they will never be able to slam you. Boulder Fall is even slow enough that any movement rune will help avoid it. Work on mana management so that you have enough mana to escape the stone slamming, but enough to punish it. As much as I crap on stone, don't underestimate the damage. It will tear your health apart. Number 3, Conduit. Conduit's class in the 2.2 patch is extremely good. However, as I'm recording this video, Proletariat just released a new announcement saying that they're going to hotfix it. And I suspect that it's still going to be good, just not as overpowered as it was before. They recently changed it from a burst weapon to constant shots. This is the most assault rifle-like weapon in the game. However, be aware of its bloom. It specializes in the status effect of shock while dealing consistent damage from a moderate distance. It is not meant to be played up close, as many other gauntlets can out DPS it. It requires some aim but has the most bloom in the game. Beware that you may not hit all your shots. Concentrate on lasering them from a distance, forcing them to approach you again and again until they're camped dead. Damage for each rarity is around 10, and keep in mind that the rarities don't have much of a difference. It goes from 9 to 11. It's a rapid fire gauntlet. Its ability is Lightning Strike and the mana cost is 9. Lightning Strike is a radius that you can cast anywhere near you. Without the class, it creates one big lightning strike targeting a player inside. Beware that it can hit you. Casting it right on you risks shocking you and dealing 20 damage, which is actually kind of a lot. The only thing you can do is levitate, during which the opponent can do whatever they want to you in that 1 second. The best use is to slightly lead it, as it is a circle but not big enough to just put on them. Put it slightly ahead so that they walk right into the circle. Since it is a big radius, you have some leeway. You don't need the best prediction. Use the ability to deal a solid 20 damage, shocking them and then playing aggressive for that 1 second, dealing as much as possible. This ability will hit someone no matter where they are in the circle and literally as high up as possible as long as they are inside it. It's a very quick cast, so don't be stingy with it. Should you use it? If you like consistent damage over time, then yes. If you're a new player, I still might suggest other things, but I can completely understand if this is your kind of class. It is not meant to be, although this 2.2 update can be argued otherwise, but it will be changed. Conduit is not meant to be a damaged class, but can be used for finishing blows, shocking, and just nicking people in the air. Since it is an instant cast and the only one in the game, use it as escaping players or far people to nick them. 10 damage may not seem like a lot, but it can be. Conduit players on teams tend not to play too aggressive, but not extremely passive either. They need to be close enough to cast a lightning strike. It's an in-between, likely the most middle class. To counter the Conduit Gauntlet, it's very similar to Frost. Hide behind structures, as they really struggle to out DPS classes up close. If you're Frost or Conduit yourself, then hope you're just better than them. Weave between structures and cover to avoid their shots while popping out to use yours. Being up close also negates their ability. A polar opposite is a flight rune. They may be able to nick 9 or 18 damage on you, but in extreme distances, their bloom will fail them. And that was the first 3. I hope you enjoyed my explanations and a couple tips for those 3. I hope you pick up one of them. Don't pick up stone, please. If you enjoyed or want to see the next 3, please pop a sub and a like on this video. Spellbreak is a small but growing community, so it helps get my content out there. Gonna plug again, but if you have any questions, I can answer them live on my Twitch in the description below. I also play with viewers. All you have to do is ask. Why are you immune? No reg. Oh wow, how did he hit that? You. Oh, they're fighting each other now. This dude.